game was a lively affair, seeing Rory Donaldson score 2 goals, both off the head. And now we look forward to tonight's fixture with a few changes that Mel Gwinnett has made since that game. We've got Shane Dunn. Sorry, Shane Dunn is filling in at right back for an injured Jordan Thomas, and then we've also got Rob Hall, who's coming in for the injured Mason Bloomfield. On the bench is Sam Dreyer, who is on loan from Peterborough. He was their under-21s centre-back and captain, of course. So look forward to seeing what he can contribute to tonight's game. Yeah, we've got the players have just warmed up, and now we await them coming onto the pitch shortly. Again, don't really know what to expect from this starting 11. We've got the current players who have been in great form recently. Obviously, Dean Inman and Louis Fernandez at the back. That's been a solid partnership right from the beginning of the season, and hopefully that will continue. I am being joined by Eduardo now, who will be putting on his headset. How are we, Eduardo?
Hi, Oscar. Great to be here. Another Tuesday night under the lights at the Beverly.
Yep.
How are you feeling yourself?
I'm good, mate. I'm looking forward to today's game. Obviously, coming off a 2-1 victory against Hemel Hempstead. How do you think the boys will fare tonight?
Yeah, obviously, I think that it's an incredible incredible run of form, now for Hampton and Richmond. So if they can look at continuing this and making a playoff push, you know, shoring themselves up at Christmas will be part of that, and getting a result here as well. So obviously Braintree, they are a top half side, they are going to be a test. But yeah, in this run of form, you don't put anything past Hampton and Richmond.
Obviously, we've got that fixture against Yeovil to look forward to. How important is it that the boys look strong today?
Yeah, I think, you know, continuing this run of form will give them great confidence to go into that Yeovil game, pick up a result. But at the end of the day, obviously, only one side get automatically promoted, and Yeovil got off to a flyer, and they're currently, you know, miles ahead in terms of that. So, you know, having a good run of form into that match will be crucial to actually get anything there, due to the high quality that Yeovil possess, and you know, them themselves are winning games for fun at the moment.
Well, we obviously played Yeovil earlier this season at home, lost that game 1-0, but we just look a completely different set of players now. What can we expect from a different Hampton and Richmond side in that game as opposed to what we saw earlier this season?
Yeah, exactly that. Since that game, I think, you know, I've seen first and foremost defensive solidarity become a real part of the Hampton and Richmond game. You think of Dean Inman, you think of Fernandez in there as the centre-back partnership. You know, not many great strikers are able to really attack that Hampton side with them two at the back, and the full-backs as well, Wissart and Jordan Thomas usually, really put in a great performance across that back line as of late that helps, you know, going forward when you have that defensive stability behind you. So obviously Mason Bloomfield, who's been scoring a lot of goals as of late, wasn't available last game, and then you still had Rory Donaldson able to step up. So I think there's confidence oozing through this Hampton and Richmond side at the moment.
Absolutely. The players are just walking out now, so I will run through the starting 11. We've got Adam Desbois, Rory Donaldson, Dean Inman, Louis Fernandez, Rob Hall, Ben Seymour, Jake Gray, Sam Deadfield, George Hunt, Dan Wishart and Shane Dunn starting for the Beavers. And for Braintree Town, we've got Jack Sims, Ben Mason, Leon Davies, Reggie Lamb, Joseph Grimwood, Ben Tompkins, Gio Critchell, Alfie Payne, Aaron Blair, Aaron DC's Giorgio, and Matthew Ward.
Yeah, I've heard Aaron Blair is in blistering form coming into this game, I believe, obviously helping Braintree to a small run of form themselves over the last 5 games. So it'll be interesting to see how Aaron Blair comes up against Heinemann and Fernandez, and whether he can get a goal today.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, again, before you put on the headset there, I was saying about how Inman and Fernandez, that centre-back pairing, has just worked so well for the Beavers. Is that something that you've noticed as well this season?
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, on this run of form, I think the back line has helped support the offensive improvement, and their solidarity is crucial for Hampton and Richmond. But not only that, I think this team has showed the ability to close out games. You think about a couple of away games where they've nicked an early goal, or maybe they've nicked a late one, and they're just able to hold out games with that back line being strong. So that's another thing that's really helped earn them results as of late, and it could be another thing we see here tonight where maybe they nick one and they just sit back and defend that lead.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, I would say, although we have got that defensive stability, going forward, I mean, compared to early this season, it's just a completely different, different set of players going forward. You've got Jake Gray and Sam Deadfield, who are constantly creating chances for the likes of Ben Seymour. So hopefully we see more of that in this game tonight.
Yeah, obviously we know how clinical Ben Seymour is from the penalty spot. He doesn't miss from there, but there's other elements to his game that you just got to admire. I mean, he gets stuck in. He's got a bit of pace on the last man, and you know, we think of Hemel Hempstead game. I thought he was one of the standout players there, absolutely, without the presence of Bloomfield, who obviously has that aerial ability and that hold-up play. But Seymour up there on himself did himself justice, absolutely, in that game.
Yeah, it didn't stop running in that game. I mean, the work rate just showed throughout the whole team. We've also got Shane Dunn filling in at right back today. He always works his socks off whenever he comes on the pitch. So we've got Rob Hall just kicking off now, and shortly underway.
Yeah, couple of notes that I actually saw before this game, that Ollie Mers, he was a schoolboy in Braintree, so maybe he'll be a Braintree FC fan tonight and supporting those as we kick off here.
Well, that would be very interesting. I mean, I can't see him in the Beverly at the minute, but obviously I'm standing a fair distance away from the crowd over there. So, it's going to be one of them ones where you're going to want to wrap up warm if you're a fan at the Beverly tonight. But we are off, and Braintree have themselves a throw-in on the far side of the pitch.
Yeah, number 2 just launches it long there. Dan Wishart defending though. And the ball goes out of play, and Dan Wishart effectively wins a throw-in.
Yep, that goes back to Adam Desbois here. Fernandez gave an option, but it went out to the Braintree at number 8 over there, who heads it out through another throw-in for Dan Wishart. Wishart on the ball here. Gives it to Sam Deadfield, who looks for Ben Seymour, but he runs slightly past him. Braintree hit the ball out for another throw-in. Looks like Dan Wishart will be back on it here. He looks for Donaldson, but can't quite find him.
Yeah, it's a quick start here to this game. Looks to be physical as Braintree sling a few long balls forward, but obviously we know Hampton and Richmond are capable of physical football with that big back line. And they're just firing a few long balls forward there themselves, Oscar.
Yeah, that was a lovely touch from Ben Seymour, though, who knocks it on for Jake Gray, and he couldn't quite find anyone in the box there, so now Braintree have it. Their number 7 is driving up the pitch. Dean Inman cuts it out, and now he is on the ball. Dan Wishart picks it up once again here on the left-hand side. And now Braintree are on the break. They have numbers in attack here. Number 11 has it. and it's their first chance of the game.
Yeah, it was a dangerous counter-attack from the off there, actually. Aaron Blair, the man we spoke about before the game, who's in a bit of a run of form himself, just dangerously goes directly at the Hampton defenders. It's eventually pulled back by another Braintree player into his path and in the end blocked out for a corner. But yeah, Braintree really showing some commitment to drive and be direct there in that first attacking move. The swing in the corner, but it goes a bit too far for anyone to attack. Number 8, Alfie Payne whips it back in.
There's a header at the far post there. I can't quite make out which Braintree player got on the end of that one, but early signs of a positive start for Braintree.
Yeah, well, Braintree manager Angelo Harrop is barking instructions down here. I'm not sure whether he's happy with the start they've had, but yeah, certainly showing some commitment to attack Hampton and Richmond to start the game. But yes, this number 7, Gio Critchlow, as Ollie Murs says, he could be a bit of a troublemaker tonight.
Ooh. You've been waiting to say that, haven't you? Here's Adam Desbois on the goal kick. Flick on from Jake Gray, but it falls to a Braintree player.
Yeah, Adam Desbois just pings the ball into Jake Gray, who tries a flick on, but there's just a series of scrappy plays there, and the ball eventually rolls back to the Braintree goalkeeper, Jack Sims, who pushes his Braintree players forward now. Looks to go long, and Braintree aren't messing about here. They're trying to apply the pressure.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be the same commitment to play the ball out from the back like we saw Hampton and Richmond do in that game against Hemel Hempstead on Saturday, but still early doors. I'm sure there's plenty of time for Adam Desbois to get control of his defence.
We have Georgiou here with some outrageous skill down the wing. Turns a couple of players there, Wissart and Rory Donaldson, but eventually the ball rolls out for an Adam Desbois goal kick, and he'll probably play another one. Looking for the head of Jake Gray, looking for the run of Ben Seymour.
Yeah, that was a lovely little run from the Braintree player there. Great feat.
Desbois' kick towards Rory Donaldson, who's beat in the air by Ben Tompkins. Seymour scraps for it, but in the end it's cleared by Joseph Grimwood.
Yeah, I mean, Seymour seems slightly isolated in that final third of the pitch. Obviously, Rob Hall giving him some support, but playing a slightly deeper line. How do you assess that sort of early tactical display from Hampton and Richmond, Eduardo?
Yeah, well, you know, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. I think Seymour, like we said previously, did a cracking job leading the line on his own in the previous game, and I think he is capable of doing that. But yeah, if they're going to depend on that long ball, then Seymour really isn't the kind of player that they can depend on to do that all game long. He needs them runs in behind to cause some danger. Same for Rob Hall. He needs to be on the ball to use his technical ability to harm this Braintree team. Goalkeeper for Braintree goes along there on the head of Dean Inman.
Ben Seymour's just been taken out there by a Braintree player. I don't quite know what happened, but it looked like some form of a WWE manoeuvre. What do you make of that, Eduardo?
Yeah, I mean, Seymour's dangerously crashed from around head height there. Luckily he's walking and seems to be fine.
Yeah, we've got a free kick now. Rob Hall to take.
Rob Hall delivers a free kick towards Inman. Falls out to Shane Dunn, who lines it. And the ball across goal is cleared. Shane Dunn now scrapping for it. Puts in a big challenge on Alfie Payne. But Braintree now back in control of possession with Leon Davies, who switches play.
Yeah, Shane Dunn, he showed a lot of that in the Hempstead game, where he just would not give up at any moment. Even when he loses the ball, he'll fight to win it back, and that just goes to show what kind of player he is. So I think having him on the pitch at right back will offer a slightly different option that is replacing Jordan Thomas tonight.
Yeah, he's going to have to deal with Gio Critchlow, though, who looks quite the handful, alongside his overlapping fullback Leon Davies. And it's just getting passed across the back line now and coming towards Leon Davies. Davies pokes it back inside, and Braintree try to release Aaron. They try to release Critchlow there down the line. But it's nodded out for a Braintree throw-in. They're taking their time now, taking the throw-in, as Angelo Harrop has a word with fullback Leon Davies, but one of their players comes over now to take the throw-in.
Yeah, it's Ben Mason to take the throw-in for Braintree. In a good position, actually. We've got a lot of players in the box here.
Yeah, I did see him launch a long one earlier, so I think he has that in his bag if he wants it. But he goes short there, gets the ball back there and tries a roulette of sorts, but in the end just gives away a free kick to Hampton and Richmond just outside their area.
I think Sam Deadfield just sort of stood him up there, really. Obviously tried a fairly skillful move there, the Braintree player, but didn't quite work out for him.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's trying it up there on the offensive end, if that was happening anywhere near his own box, he'd definitely be in trouble for that one. Adam Desbois with the free kick towards Seymour, who clashes awkwardly in the air again, but Gray flicks it back to him. But it's emphatically cleared by Braintree, and it will be a Hampton and Richmond throw in here. Shane Dunn into Deadfield. Deadfield tries to find a ball into the box, but it's fell out to Leon Davies. The clearance from Braintree only falls back to Dunn down the right hand side. Jake Gray finds Seymour down the line. Seymour into Deadfield on the edge of the box now. Deadfield out to Wishart on the other side. Wishart skins his man. It's in the box. Claims for a handball. But it's now cleared back towards the Hampton and Richmond halfway line, and they're on the attack now, Braintree. Countering. Dean Inman deals with the problem though.
Yeah, that was a great little run from Dan Wishart there. Obviously, Jake Gray's still got it here. Gives it to Rob Hall.
Yeah, Rob Hall, his first involvement here, really. Not able to grab hold of that one, but it will be recycled now through Deadfield. Out to Dunn. Back to Deadfield. And Gray is well closed down. And eventually the ball rolls back to the keeper, Jack Sims. What have you made then to Hampton and Richmond's opening, Oscar?
Well, I think Sam Deadfield was at the forefront of that attack. He played a great ball in for George Hunt, who couldn't quite control it, but obviously early signs of creativity in that midfield that we've seen all season. And then Dan Wishart showed an unbelievable change of pace to, as you say, skin his man.
Absolutely, a great play, and now a chance for Braintree to attack through Critchlow here, who whips one in. Oh, it's just over the head of number 9, Aaron Blair, and eventually cleared by Fernandez. Seymour will chase the clearance now, but Ben Tompkins does well to get his head on it. It's now back to Adam Desbois through various clearances, and Desbois' clearance is ping-ponging between the halves, but eventually it falls to Matthew Ward, who finds his man out wide. Braintree on the attack now. Cleared by Dunn.
Rob Hall goes down, but doesn't look like there's a huge amount in that challenge. We've got Dan Wishart who's chasing his man down, and he gets a block in.
Yeah, it's Ben Mason here who's threatening for Braintree, but in the end his delivery is very poor. Shanks out for a Hampton and Richmond throw-in. Yeah, very physical, cagey affair so far here at the Beverley. I'd say no side really getting it down and playing. Both sides going direct, playing the attacking ball. And Braintree don't look afraid whatsoever of the form that Hampton and Richmond are in. They're here to pick up 3 points by the looks of it, as you would imagine. Shane Dunn throws it in, but it's headed clear by Davies. Ball falls to Dunn, who sets it to Fernandez to clear. The ball is now pulled back for a Braintree offside in the previous play, which Adam Debois looks to take quickly into Seymour. Seymour tries to get on the shoulders of Joseph Grimwood there, but the ball just falls to Jack Sims in the end.
Yes, just came off second best. I mean, I think Ben Seymour's really trying to become this aerial threat. Obviously, missing that with having Mason Bloomfield injured, and you're seeing this back line of Braintree. I mean, these are fairly tall individuals. It's difficult for him to, pick up a Adam Debois free kick like that from a header. Yeah, definitely. Tompkins and Grimwood it is at the back here for Braintree, who look very capable defenders, and Seymour will still look to threat. He won't give up. But it's whether that long ball style will suit his game, and we'll have to see. It's now in the Braintree attacking third now. Davies on the throw-in. Davies throws it down the line, but Dunn intercepts it for Hampton and Richmond. And now Jake Gray looks to play out. He finds Seymour, who flicks it onto Rob Hall, but Rob Hall miscontrols it, and the Braintree clearance is right into Adam Debois' hands. Adam Debois rolls it out to Fernandez. And they look to actually be playing now. Deadfield picks it up in midfield. Fernandez goes along to Seymour. And Tompkins steps out in front of Seymour, but it was a great tackle, I think, from Deadfield there. It looked like it was Rory Donaldson, actually, with the challenge. He went sliding in and got all ball, to be fair to him, but now it's the tricky clinch low down the wing into Aaron Blair, but it's blocked by Dean Inman. Donaldson has it and looks to clear, but Wishart in the end shanks the clearance, and it's out for a Braintree throw, and this time down the side of Ben Mason, who will be on it. And like I said earlier, he does have that long throw in his locker, Ben Mason. Yeah, this attack looks good. As you mentioned at the start, this Aaron Blair, he's got a lot to offer by the looks of it. Yeah, so we've got Critchlow attacking down this side. He looks to be a very skillful player, and then you got Aaron Blair, who's eager to get shots off there. I think that's 2 shots he's gotten already that were well blocked and defended by Hampton and Richmond. But yeah, it's Ben Mason with that long throw in now. But in the end, it didn't find the head of anyone there and just goes straight out for a goal kick. Adam Debois maybe happy for his defenders to do the work for him now on them long throw-ins, though. They're always awkward, those, when they fall in between the goalkeeper and the defender. Yeah, I mean, you had Gio Kitchglow there, who was obviously at the back post. I mean, he looks to be a threat going forward, doesn't he? So absolutely, it was a shame that he couldn't quite get on the end of anything, obviously from a Braintree perspective. But now we've got Ben Seymour, who's cut inside here, and it looks like Sam Deadfield got the shot away in the end, but yeah, well wide of the goal there. Yeah, it was Seymour who found herself in space on the left-hand side, tried to cut in on that right foot, but was well ushered outside of the box, and the ball ended up falling towards Deadfield on the edge, and he just sort of shanked that over the bar, so it'll be a Jack Sims goal kick now. who hasn't really been tested yet, Jack Sims. Neither keeper's really been tested. I feel like players are getting themselves in good positions, but no one's really getting their shots off.
Yeah, so we're about 20 minutes in now, and it's fair to say the ball's been back and forth, but without any real substance here at the moment. But yeah, we've got Ben Mason with that long throw in now, down the right side. Wishart clears with his head though, and it's back to Mason, who recycles it, and it's ended up getting recycled all the way back to Jack Sims now. Jack Sims plays it out. And now it's switched all the way to Critchlow. Critchlow tries a quick one down the line. And Matthew Ward it is with the ball in. Braintree now on the attack, and it's the dangerous striker who's looking to get his shots off again. Reggie Lamb recycling it in the midfield, but it's whipped into the box. Oh, bit of a high boot there from Matthew Ward, and he's penalised for it. The ball was crossed in by Braintree, and Matthew Ward tried to get on the end of it with his foot, and in the end he just impeded on Fernandez, who tried to defend it with his head. So it's another Adam Desbois free kick.
Yeah, I don't quite know what Matthew Ward was attempting there, but obviously we've got Aaron Blair, who just seems to be at the forefront of all these attacks, really. I mean, his involvement in the game is surely not something that can be disputed.
Yeah, I think, as many people say in basketball, shooters shoot, and that's certainly what Aaron Blair is doing. He's getting his shots off, and you may think if the defence aren't switched on, they could hit the target and trouble Adam Desbois, but so far they've been equal to it and managed to put a body in front of every shot that Blair has had. But it's down the right-hand side with Dunn now, who gets the throw-in in. Reggie Lamb releases Blair now, down this left-hand side. He's one-on-one with Fernandez. He's got Fernandez reeling. He's trying to cut inside on that right foot, but Fernandez does well. He holds him up. It's switched out towards the right wing, and Braintree just fire over.
Yeah, as you say, Fernandez done very well there to just usher out a very tricky number 9 in Aaron Blair.
Yeah, I mean, I was worried for Fernandez then, because Blair's got a bit of pace on him. He looks to have some great tricks in the locker, and when you get a big man like Fernandez one-on-one, you think he might be able to do him, but Fernandez holds Blair up well there, and it's, like I said, a Hampton and Richmond goal kick now. Ball goes along to Rory Donaldson, who the ball goes past him, but it's ended up coming out now to Braintree, and they try to switch the ball over to Critchlow there, but it's unsuccessful. Jake Gray plays it into Wishart, who tries to find Seymour over the top, but in the end it goes into the goalkeeper, and now it's Davies down this left-hand side who plays it inside. They again look for Blair over the top, but unsuccessful. But it's Matthew Ward who picks up the loose pickings. But Matthew Ward with a sloppy pass now finds Jake Gray, who sets it off to Dunn. But Dunn's long ball is unsuccessful, and it's at Braintree's peril to attack again now. Lamb in the middle now. Recycles it to Lamb in the middle, recycling it well. Davies into Lamb. Lamb with a great ball to Critchlow, but it just ends up spinning into Adam Desbois' hands. Desbois throws it out quickly to Jake Gray now, down this right-hand side. Jake Gray held up well by the Braintree midfield, and it ends up just going out for a Hampton Richmond throw-in.
Yeah, Jake Gray just sort of feinting the switch there. But, yeah, looks like Shane Dunn's taken the throw in here. He's made a good start to the game, I think.
No doubt about it, Oscar. I think he's got to be switched on here. Critchlow looks a real threat, but so far so good for Dunn. But He just shanks the ball out there, unfortunately, and it will be a Braintree throw. Davies looking to throw the ball inbound, plays a 1-2 and switches possession into Ben Tompkins. Ben Tompkins out to Ben Mason now. Ben Mason into Lamb. Tompkins over to Grimwood. Grimwood back to Tompkins across that Braintree back line. Tompkins breaks the line and finds a great pass, and now it's Matthew Ward in behind. Matthew Ward tangling up with Inman, gets a shot off, but could have been a lot more dangerous there, Oscar.
Yeah, I think Inman just did enough to deter Matthew Ward. It was obviously in a great bit of space there, but Inman sliding in just put him off enough to allow Adam Desbois to safely collect the ball there.
Adam Desbois kicks the ball along after that bit of Braintree danger, and it's Deadfield who collects it in midfield. Dunn finding Rob Hall with a delicious turn, sends in Seymour. Seymour 1-on-1, possible penalty now for Hampton and Richmond, but the referee says no. What do you think there, Oscar? I mean, Rob Hall's played Seymour in between the centre-backs. He's 1-on-1 with the keeper, potentially bundled over. And now Rob Hall's actually on the attack again now. Into Deadfield. Finds Gray. Gray cuts it back. Seymour. Oh, only finds the side netting. Really dangerous sequence of play there from Hampton Richmond. Was it a penalty, Oscar?
I think that was definitely a penalty. I think, obviously, Rob Hall, unbelievable turn there and did well to find Seymour. From where I'm standing here, that's got to be a penalty. The Braintree player did look like he didn't get any of the ball. I mean, he just takes him down in the box. That's a clear penalty to me.
Yeah, I think it was Ben Tompkins who just bundled Seymour over in the end, and maybe Mel Gwinnett will not be happy with that one. But, you know, Braintree have got away with it, and their goal kick now comes into play. That might fire the Hampton and Richmond players up, because that's their best sort of attacking sequence we've seen there. Like I said, once we got Rob Hall on the ball in the middle, he was able to make things happen. But yeah, Braintree recycle it round the back once more.
Yeah, I mean, I have been impressed with Rob Hall, how he's been able to control the ball in those confined spaces. Obviously, in that situation, he was able to create the space to find Seymour, and it's just that extra little bit of quality that you see with certain players like Rob Hall.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what a lot of people around the Hampton and Richmond camp say about Rob Hall. That on-ball ability that he has is second to none. Obviously, been through all the football leagues, and he clearly has the ability to show for it. It's gone long now by Adam Desbois, but Shane Dunn wins the header. It's into Rob Hall again now, who's got time to turn. Lays off Jake Gray on the wing. Jake Gray with the ball in. But Braintree defend it well. And in the end, their clearance is deflected off Rob Hall. Goal kick now for Jack Sims. Yeah, I'd say Braintree had a decent bit of momentum until this most recent sequence of play by Hampton and Richmond, where they're able to get Rob Hall on the ball. They've able to put together a few dangerous opportunities. But before then, it was probably all Braintree, would you say, Oscar?
I'd say so. Obviously, again, we keep mentioning him, but that number 9, Aaron Blair, he's done exceptional work since the start of this game. I'm actually somewhat surprised that he's not been able to get himself in a proper goal-scoring position, really. Obviously, Adam Desbois still hasn't really been tested.
Yeah, he's just a menace in and behind that Aaron Blair. But Matthew Ward as well has also been getting himself about. And the ball again goes out for an Adam Desbois goal kick just now. It's sort of just being contested in the middle for most parts at the moment, but Adam Desbois will again pump it long and start another contest for the ball. This time it's a Braintree header. Dean Inman heads it the other way. Fernandez now heads it towards the Braintree half, hoping for it to stick up there, and it does this time with Seymour, who finds Deadfield. Deadfield's had a good game, I would say. He's really dictating play in that middle for Hampton and Richmond, would you say, Oscar?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's made himself very busy.
And now it's back in the middle now with Dunn coming down this right-hand side into Rob Hall. Oh, it's a dummy from Ben Seymour trying to leave the ball for Jake Gray in behind him, but Braintree are wiser to it, and Jake Gray tackles Lamb out for a Braintree throw-in that's going to be taken by Davies.
I think the Hampton and Richmond midfield just working really well here. You've obviously got Rob Hall playing a slightly deeper role. As you say, Sam Deadfield, Jake Gray, George Hunt all linking up really well here.
Yeah, 100%, but Alfie Payne for Braintree has had some success also, but here's Rob Hall now back on the ball. Whips one in. Oh, and it's Rob Hall again causing some danger. He just cut inside his man there, had space to operate. Ended up going for the cross to try and find Rory Donaldson, who obviously scored a double at the weekend, but it was just too far ahead of him there. Goes into the hands of Jack Sims, but yeah, I was just going to say, Braintree have had some success playing it into Captain Alfie Payne, who just tries to flick one around the corner to the dangerous striker Aaron Blair. They have gone to that move a couple of times now. I've noticed that. Have you noticed the presence there of Alfie Payne in the middle?
Yeah. Obviously, he is a skipper, so he will lead by example. And I think, yeah, Braintree have given Hampton Richmond a lot to think about. But obviously, we've seen there Rob Hall's been amongst it all. He's he just delivered a really nice ball in there for Rory Donaldson. So as long as we've got players who can get on the end of it, I think these chances will eventually turn into goals.
Yeah, 100%, Oscar. And yeah, like you say, Rob Hall really does stand out in terms of that quality, but it's Ben Mason now down the right-hand side for Braintree with the throw-in. Wishart got time to think about it on the clearance and goes down the line, but it's fired right back to the Hampton and Richmond half, and it will be another Hampton and Richmond goal kick. Not really either side able to get hold of possession for long spells, and Desbois opts to go short this time into Dean Inman. Dean Inman looks for the long ball to Rory Donaldson, but it's defended by Ben Mason, so it'll be out for a Hampton and Richmond throw-in. That goes into Seymour, and it's well defended, but it ends up coming out to Inman. Inman into Deadfield now. Deadfield looks for that one round the corner to Jake Gray, but it's unsuccessful. And the ball's now getting contested in the air. Inman goes for the long clearance to Seymour, but it's now in possession of the Braintree back line. Braintree back line go forward. It's a great touch by Blair, but Dunn does well to cut out a possible pass to the winger. And now it's with Donaldson down that left-hand side. Donaldson tries to deliver the ball, but Braintree defend it well. That clearance wasn't great, though, and it's come out to Deadfield. Deadfield into Gray now. Gray tries a very long-range attempt, and it's easily blocked. Blair holds up well, and it was the Braintree skipper who again tried that one round the corner. But didn't work, and now the ball ricochets several times, but it's out for a Braintree throw-in. Leon Davies.
Yeah, that was a nice effort from Rory Donaldson on the far side there. He did really well to get the cross off, actually. So if we get him on the ball just that little bit more, I think chances can be created.
Would you say this is an even affair so far, Oscar? I mean, neither side really dominating, and but it's a crucial loss of possession by Lamb here, and Seymour's got space to travel in, but it's cut out in the end by Grimwood.
That was a really good opportunity for Hampton and Richmond there. You had Rory Donaldson running into acres of space, and Ben Seymour just didn't release it quick enough.
Yeah, sorry, it's Tompkins, not Grimwood, who cut it out, and in the end, Hampton and Richmond couldn't make anything of that dangerous loss of possession in the middle by Lamb. So it's back to Braintree keeper Jack Sims now. Jack Sims into Tompkins. Tompkins weighs up that switch ball, but in the end goes down the line. Straight to Inman's head. Gray flicks it round the corner, but it will only fall to Alfie Payne, the Braintree skipper, out to Ben Mason. Ben Mason back into Payne, who's switches the ball delightfully there into Davies, and here comes Critchlow. Critchlow loses it, and it's Rob Hall now. Hampton Richmond fans will want him on the ball, and he finds Rory Donaldson in the middle of the park. And that falls to Jake Gray generously. Jake Gray, toying with his defenders, finds Rob Hall after Dunn dummies it nicely. Rob Hall down the wing, tries to deliver one, parried by the keeper, and in the end cleared well. And here come Braintree on the counter now. We've seen they've got pace, and here they come, causing a threat. Oh, Wishart takes out the Braintree attacker who was coming forward at pace there. I don't think that challenge was all that necessary, Oscar. I think that Braintree were actually going to lose possession on that counter there, but Wishart will pick himself up a yellow card.
Yeah, unfortunate for Wishart. He just came in a tad too late there. As you say, somewhat unnecessary, but we obviously had Rob Hall again involved in a decent bit of play there from Hampton and Richmond. I mean, to answer your question earlier, Eduardo, technically it's an even game, but I just feel like going forward with the involvement that Rob Hall's having, we just look that little bit more dangerous, don't you think?
Yeah, exactly that. I think the quality of Rob Hall is stand out here, and he just looks dangerous when he picks up the ball. The free kick was taken quickly, but the referee's not happy with it and will pull it back. And it's Lamb over the free kick for Braintree. But I think that, last time out he looked to go short to Alfie Payne, but this time maybe we'll be looking to deliver it. The referee gives permission, and it is going short into Payne. Payne with his left foot tries to loft it over the top of the Hampton and Richmond defence, and no luck. Out for a Desbois goal kick.
Seemed like a bit of a wasted opportunity, that really. Obviously, you picked up on the fact that they've tried that move before, playing it off to Payne, but couldn't quite muster anything up there.
Yeah, I think Braintree could look to inflict danger on the Hampton and Richmond defence with that Alfie Payne ball over the top to their pacey front line, but so far Hampton and Richmond have dealt with it well. It's Jake Gray on the ball in the middle of the park now, plays it back to Inman, who's got time on the halfway line. Inman turns back, recycles it with Fernandez, and it's done. Back to Fernandez, who flicks a long one up the line, falls out to Dunn. Dunn now, brings it forward. Time on the ball for Dunn. Finds Gray. Far too much time to whip one in, but in the end the delivery's pretty poor. Goes out for a Braintree goal kick. Coming up to half-time now. What are your thoughts on the first half, Oscar?
Again, I mean, I don't think Mel Gwinnett would be overly disappointed with how his side has performed in this half. Ultimately, with Hampton and Richmond just being having such good momentum behind them at the minute, I think possibly a second half onslaught might be on the cards potentially. But at the minute, we're keeping things very controlled, especially in that midfield.
Yeah, I think with a few minutes to go now, it's a very even affair going into the half. Grimwood with a huge clearance. And it will be out for a Hampton and Richmond throw-in. Few complaints to the referee by Jake Gray. And the referee looks at his watch. Not long now at all till half-time. And I have seen Hampton and Richmond go in before at half-time, having not been happy with their performance. I think of a Tuesday night here against Worthing, where Worthing, dominated the first half with great on-the-ball play. And come the second half, like you said, it was that Hampton and Richmond onslaught. But I don't know if I see that here today. I think Braintree are really here to challenge the playoff contenders in Hampton and Richmond. And they will again come forward here through Critchlow. Critchlow dancing against Jake Gray. Oh, fires one towards that near post, and it wasn't far off at all. I'm not sure whether you could count that as an effort on target, but it was certainly creeping towards that bottom corner. And Adam Desbois with a save.
Yeah, not quite an effort on target. I mean, initially it looked a lot better of a effort than what it actually was. I think Adam Debois obviously had it covered, but decent little effort from Critchlow.
Yeah, now we've got Rory Donaldson knocking it on with his head in the middle of the park. Rob Hall gets possession. Loses it that time, and it's now Lamb on the ball, who will recycle through Ben Mason.
He's retained the ball very well in this half, Rob Hall. Haven't seen him get dispossessed too many times here.
Yeah, I did lose it that time, and it was Braintree who now have the chance to come forward, but in the end their long ball is cut out by Fernandez. Hunt misplaces his header to Jake Gray, and now Braintree have possession back in the middle of the park. Davies looking for some options and recycles it across the back line to Tompkins. Here's the skipper, Payne. And Hampton and Richmond are cutting out the options nicely here, but now Davies finds Blair in behind, and Blair's offside. I think it was a really good effort there by Hampton and Richmond, firstly to cut out any short options there. They're keeping Braintree playing round the back rather than in the middle and through the lines, and then they've held their line well there and caught the striker offside.
Yeah, it looks like they kind of forced the Braintree player there into making a slightly panicky decision by obviously perhaps ambitiously finding Aaron Blair there. I mean,
absolutely, but now Fernandez just boots it out of play on the other side. You know, they need to get hold of that ball rather than just cheaply give it away there. And it will be a Jack Sims goal kick. Coming up to the half-time whistle now. It won't be long at all until referee Stephen Hughes blows it for the first half. 0-0 here at the Beverley Stadium so far in a back-and-forth cagey affair. Braintree looking fairly decent away at home here at Hampton and Richmond. Sims takes the goal kick out towards Ben Mason and Rory Donaldson, and it's touched down nicely by Braintree, but Fernandez cuts out the ball to Blair through the middle. So it'll be a Braintree throw-in. As I've told you many times, it's Ben Mason with that long throw-in down the right-hand side. Did you watch many of them Rory Delap games back in the day, Oscar?
Can't say I did, to be fair, but obviously Ben Mason has got that in his locker, the long levers, and he is looking perhaps for Aaron Blair, who's got himself in a bit of space here. Ooh, and it's an overhead. It's an overhead attempt here from
Matthew Ward. Thinks he's got Nacho there. He's tried to ambitiously bicycle kick it from the edge of the box, but absolutely no plaudits for that one. Goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, didn't quite get enough purchase on it.
No. I mean, yeah, we saw that Garnacho one. Does that beat Rooney's one for you, Oscar?
I think so. I mean, the fact that it looked as though the ball was going behind, well, it was going way behind him. Very, just a great bit of ingenuity from the young player there at United. So, no, cracking goal. What about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think that Ward has made a mess of it there, and it will come back down the right-hand side for Braintree now. In the end, it's cleared but recycled, and here comes Davies down the left. Critchlow looking to take on Dunn, running at him with serious pace, but the ball is pretty poor in the end. But Lamb recovers it in the box now, and he cuts down the byline. Who's he going to fall to? Oh, it falls to Ward. Smashes one, cracking block from Hunt. Absolutely crucial block there, as Ward, who has not long skewed her overhead kick, had a great chance on the edge of the box after Lamb managed to turn, cut one back, fell to Ward on the edge of the box, but it was Hunt there to block it on the edge of the box. It's Mason now with the throw-in down the right-hand side. And it peters out for a goal kick.
Just going back to that situation there, I was impressed with how Adam Debois dealt with it. Obviously, having all those players in front of him sort of obscuring that vision, he still had that sort of bottom corner covered. Obviously, made the dive without needing to make the save, but it's reassuring stuff from the Hampton Richmond keeper there.
Yeah, Dave Ward takes the goal kick now, and he has been a crucial part of Hampton Richmond's form. Really is a great shot stopper that instills confidence for the Beavers. Deadfield now playing a bit of keepy-uppy with Hunt, but Hunt's eventual cross is gathered by Jack Sims, the Braintree goalkeeper. Jack Sims looks to go long, as Braintree have often in this game. And it surpasses the halfway line, only to the head of Dean Inman though. Inman's header finds Davies, who's dispossessed on the halfway line dangerously. Jake Gray now on the attack for Hampton and Richmond down this right-hand side. Gray. In the end, Critchlow's defended very well there. And the ball's come out of Gray, and it's a Braintree throw-in. Critchlow, though, has come hobbling off the play. Braintree fans won't like to see that. Davies launches, but Dunn is equal to the throw-in. Falls out to Seymour. Seymour sets it to Dunn. Dunn is challenged by Critchlow, but he throws the ball back into play quickly to Donaldson. Donaldson to Gray. Set back to Dunn. Dunn back to Gray. And the balls fell out too. Oh, the ball fell out there to Deadfield. And now Braintree counter after Deadfield's cross finds no one. Here comes the striker. Donson's done well there, though, to dispossess the Braintree striker, and it'll be a Hampton throw-in.
Yeah, I think they could have made something a little bit more of that Braintree. Obviously, it looked like Wishart and Inman were the last players in defence there. Perhaps with more players going forward, they could have conjured up something a little bit more creative.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Davies tries to head clear, but it's Rob Hall on the ball again. Rob Hall finds Dunn as the referee indicates 1 minute added time to this half. Lamb nods it back to Critchlow. Critchlow knocks it round the corner, but there's no one there for Braintree, so it will fall back to the feet of Adam Debois, who passes it into Inman. Inman. Wishart tries one round the corner and then just boots the ball to goalkeeper Jack Sims. Not good on the ball play there from Hampton and Richmond. We don't like to see that, but overall, they've probably had the better chances this half, the Beavers.
I would say so. Obviously, we keep mentioning his name, Rob Hall. I think this is actually probably one of the best I've ever seen him. In terms of impact that he's had on the game, he's those chances that he's created, and I think back to the attempt on goal that Ben Seymour had was obviously, was it a penalty, was it not? Yeah, I think Hampton and Richmond can take some confidence from how they've played in this first half, and hopefully a more clinical second half awaits us.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be Wishart with the throw-in down the left-hand side, and there goes the half-time whistle. A cagey and physical first half here at the Beverley Stadium, where Braintree haven't been scared to be direct at Hampton and Richmond, but the best chance of the game so far was when Rob Hall sent through Ben Seymour a possible penalty shout, but the referee said no. Again, Seymour threatened in that same attacking move, eventually hitting the side netting. And Wishart and Rob Hall alike have got down their respective wings and put in some dangerous crosses. Braintree striker Aaron Blair has got shots off, but mostly they've been blocked by the Beaver defenders so far. But it poises itself for a very interesting second half as these teams are clashing heads in a very physical and cagey affair so far in this push for playoff places. And welcome back for the second half of Hampton and Richmond v Braintree Town, Tuesday night under the lights here in December. And it's 0-0 following the first half. Oscar, to any people that have just tuned in now, perhaps, you know, how would you sum up that first half? What do you think you saw?
Yeah, I mean, I think, wait, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, obviously, it was a good half in the sense that the midfield really shone during that first 46 minutes, actually. Rob Hall at the forefront of everything, really, I thought. But I think in this second half, if we can possibly bring on maybe the likes of Alfie Whittingham and even new signing George Nunn could be a potential option to just inject a little bit of pace into that attacking third.
Yeah, and in terms of the Braintree side, how would you say that they threatened the Beavers in the first half? What do you think they could do to cause an upset here in terms of upsetting the rich form of Hampton and Richmond?
Yeah, well, I think obviously we've seen a lot from Blair and Critchlow. Maybe if they can get some of their other more attacking players, but also midfielders actually contributing to these attacking plays, they can actually muster something together. But so far from Braintree, I think it's been individual efforts as opposed to actual link-up play between the players.
Yeah, and we're not far now from kick-off. It's going to be Matthew Ward who kicks off proceedings for Braintree, and he's knocked it back to the centre-back who goes along, but it's met by Fernandez, and straight away it's back into the long ball game at the moment. Hopefully we'll see Hampton and Richmond get the ball down and play a nice bit of football here in this second half. Especially Rob Hall, especially Jake Gray and Deadfield, who showed flashes of that in the first half without doubt. We've got Deadfield on the ball now. Deadfield finding Hall. Hall into Seymour, but it's intercepted. Gray saves it from going out of play, and it's back to Deadfield. Ball in now by Dunn, but it's over the head of everyone in the box, and it will be Ben Mason to clear the ball. Ben Mason actually lays it back to his centre-back there to clear the ball. Inman clears it back the other way. And in the end, it falls to Deadfield in the middle. Deadfield to Wishart. And it's out of play now for a Braintree throw. Yeah, what do you think Mel Gunnett would have said to them Hampton players at half-time? Obviously going in 0-0. How do you think Mel Gunnett would have approached that?
Well, I think obviously immediately we can see Shane Dunn bombing forward, which is something that he didn't, although he was defensively responsible during that first half, he didn't quite enter that Braintree half. And I think it was a nice idea from Shane Dunn actually to look for Rory Donaldson at the far post. These are the kind of attacking plays that we should be seeing in the second half. So perhaps Mel Gwinnett's tried to instill that into some of the players.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan Thomas is a big miss today for Hampton and Richmond, but Dunn filling in well so far. And here goes Seymour, who earns the free kick after being tripped in and around 3 Braintree players. It will be Deadfield over the free kick, which is just inside the Hampton and Richmond half. Deadfield knocks it back to Inman, who goes along. Unfortunately, though, it just falls straight into the lap of Braintree, but it's a lamb shank of a clearance there, and it will be a throw-in for Gray. Oh, for Donaldson, actually. Donaldson on the throw-in. It's cleared out for another Donaldson throw-in now. Donaldson into Gray. Donaldson back to Wishart. Wishart finds a great pass to Jake Gray, who's in the box. He's cutting it back now, left by Rob Hall, and Deadfield had a good chance from the edge of the box there. Great dummy from Rob Hall. Deadfield on the left foot. Tried to curl for that far top corner, but ended up skying it. Good start to the first half there, Oscar?
Yeah, no, very good start. I mean, I think Jake Gray was in a great position there, and it was a good block from Alfie Payne. Obviously, captain to captain there, so interesting little battle going on in the midfield. And yeah, Rob Hall quite rightly let it fall to Donaldson on the edge of the box.
Yeah, Jack Sims went along with a goal kick, and it's fell to Jake Gray now, who tries to send through Seymour. Seymour on the ball. He's got his two centre-backs in front of him, but he finds Donaldson. Donaldson down the wing. Oh, cuts it across goal, but no one's there for Hampton and Richmond. It was Seymour who found Donaldson in behind the Braintree defence, and now the ball's getting recycled. It's done. Goes out to the winger, Gray. But Braintree blocked the cross, but there's a bit of momentum building now inside of the Beverley. Good bit of cheering for that bit of offensive play from Hampton and Richmond, and it will be a corner ball. And just to clarify again, it's following half-time. We've just come back from half-time. It's 0-0 here in the fixture between Hampton and Richmond and Braintree. It's going to be Rob Hall, who's been largely Hampton and Richmond's danger man over the corner. See what kind of delivery he can put in. Whips one in. Oh, well cleared, and now Braintree could counter here. Blair. Oh, passes it a bit too far forward there for Critchlow to get onto, and it will go back to Debois, who finds Gray with time on the ball. The ball's come all the way back to Wissart now. And Debois makes a mess of that clearance, but it's found Gray, who sets it back to Fernandez, and Fernandez's clearance goes out of play for a Braintree throw-in. More of the same probably to start the second half, Oscar, or what do you think's changed?
Yeah, I feel like Donaldson's been involved more, so that's something that we didn't quite see in the first half. Obviously, Ben Seymour and Rob Hall were linking up very well, but now they've integrated Donaldson into some of these plays, and he did well just moments ago by getting that cross off. Unfortunately, not finding anyone at the back post, but when you see a player like Rob Hall running in, that's going to be your first instinct as an attacking player to find your man at the far post. So it's still positive signs in this second half, and Donaldson is on the ball now, plays it to Shane Dunn, who is coming in from right back.
Oh, it's another signature Rob Hall turn there. He just takes it on the inside of his foot and spins, and I think that's going to draw a booking for the Braintree skipper, Alfie Payne, for cynically pulling Rob Hall back there on the turn.
Yeah, real eye-catching stuff here from Rob Hall. He's clearly, just got those kind of feet that I guess you need in league in them
football leagues. Yeah, exactly that. I mean, he wasn't happy the other day. You seen him on Twitter, Oscar. I don't know if you on the Beavery YouTube and radio would have seen Rob Hall dismiss a Sun article posted about him travelling through the football leagues.
I did see that. What did you make of it?
Well, yeah, I mean, as far as I'm aware, we're very lucky to have him here at Hampton and Richmond. He's putting on a good show tonight, isn't he? He
is, certainly, and he's on the free kick here now. Ooh! And he went for the goal. Obviously, just shy of the post here. Jack Sims probably had it covered, but not a bad little effort from Rob Hall.
Yeah, great attempt there on the free kick, and unlucky, but it'll be a Jack Sims goal kick once more, and he's actually deceived the Hampton Richmond players there by switching the play from the goal kick. But Dunn makes a very good challenge on Critchlow to prevent any further danger. Back to the goalkeeper of Braintree now, who finds Critchlow again. Critchlow, overhead kick pass there. And now Braintree have numbers, 3-on-2 attacking situation for Braintree. And Fernandez deals with it very well. He puts that body in front of the attacker, and the ball ends up rolling into the hands of Adam Debois. But it was dangerous for Braintree there. They had a 3-on-2 attack. Should they have made more of that one, Oscar?
I think they possibly should have, but as you say, Fernandez did remarkably well. I mean, just catching up to one of Braintree's fastest players on the pitch is no easy task, and he was successfully able to do that, which obviously goes to show what the centre-back's got in his locker in terms of not only the strength in terms of muscling players off the ball, but also the speed in catching up to these fast attackers.
Yeah, exactly that. And it's Ben Mason with the throw down the right-hand side now. And Braintree have been penalised for contesting a header from the throw-in, so it's being recycled across the Hampton-Richmond back line and back to Adam Desbois now. Desbois seeks Donaldson with the long ball, and the ball goes straight over his head and finds Seymour instead. Seymour now with his back to goal, passes it to Wishart. Wishart back to Seymour down this left-hand side. Seymour cuts inside, finds Donaldson. Donaldson's entered the box now and he cuts one back to Hunt. Possible penalty shouts, but that one wasn't as stonewall as earlier. In fact, it probably wasn't even a foul, and in the end, the ball is out for a Braintree throw-in. But yeah, as me and Oscar discussed earlier, it's them two Hampton and Richmond centre-backs of ours that are just providing that stability at the moment. And there's Inman winning another throw-in for Hampton and Richmond there, and they've been isolated with some speedy and tricky players this game, but they've shown themselves more than capable of keeping up with them players.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in terms of consistency throughout the season, you've got those pillars at the back in Inman and Fernandez, who we could always rely on. Obviously, switching it up a little bit more today with getting Rob Hall amongst the midfield, but those two have been consistent features for the Beavers.
Absolutely. It's Jake Gray down the left-hand side with a throw-in now for the Beavers. Passes it on to Wishart instead. Wishart finds Seymour, who no touch turns it, but it's cleared by Braintree. We saw him do that last game where he just let a throw-in roll past him. But it's Jake Gray now on the left-hand side with his left foot. Dinks one. Donaldson, Hall. Oh, and they both miss it. I think Donaldson initially misses the strike. Maybe miscommunication. And the ball just falls to Hall and dinks off his shin.
Yeah.
Didn't threaten the goalkeeper at all in the end there, Oscar.
No, Hall was just rushing towards the 6-yard box there. I don't know if he was quite expecting it to fall to him, but he had to put together a makeshift attempt there. Obviously, Donaldson not getting on the end of it. So, but it was a good cross from Jake Gray. It's a shame neither of them got on the end of the ball.
Yeah, really good cross from Gray, and that time there were numbers in the box to meet it. Just got unlucky there. Hampton Richmond did it with the best attempt of the first half, but still 0-0 here at the Beverly so far. Braintree proving to be a tough opponent so far. But Hampton Richmond probably had the best of it in the second half at the moment. Braintree had less time in Hampton and Richmond's final third, and probably just less time in Hampton and Richmond's half in general. But I tell you one thing that hasn't stopped: Braintree manager Angelo Harrop continuing to absolutely shout demands at his players.
Yeah, he's very passionate, shall we say, in that shed down there. Obviously, he's not overly happy with how his team's performed, but given the run that Hampton and Richmond are on, perhaps Braintree playing better than what a lot of fans would have expected.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's Rob Hall with a free kick in the middle of the park. Plays it quick. Deadfield out to Gray, and Gray first time whips one into the box. But now Braintree can counter as that came to nothing from Gray. Ben Mason down the line to Georgiou. Georgiou finds his striker. Tries the 1-2, but it doesn't come off, and Donaldson can come away with it. But it's a great challenge from Blair, but there's a bit of afters between Blair and Donaldson, whilst Lamb tries to run through, and Lamb even leaves one on Fernandez there. Bit of scrapping involved there.
Yeah, he just takes out Fernandez by the looks of it. I think, as you say, there was a bit of afters between Donaldson and the Braintree player there, and it seemed to get resolved easy enough. So play continues with Donaldson now on the other end of the pitch.
Yeah, and it looks as if Braintree are already turning to the substitute bench here. We've got Shaquille Colthurst ready to come up and limber in on the sideline. But for now, they're coming forward with Georgiou. Georgiou is very well defended, though, by Dan Wishart, who wins a throw for his side. And now the Braintree substitution will take place. It's, as I said, Shaquille Colthurst to come on. And coming off is indeed the winger who has just ran it out of play, Georgiou, who I have to say has probably been Braintree's quietest attacking player, would you say, Oscar?
I would agree with that. I've not really seen much of him at all, actually. And that kind of goes back to the point of saying that it's been more individual efforts from the likes of Blair and Matthew Ward in attack. I mean, it's all well and good having these decent level players in your side, but when you're not linking up with the players in midfield and your wider players, it's you're not actually creating the chances to score goals.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. You know, I think Braintree, they look a dangerous side, perhaps on the counter attack or moving at pace, but when it comes to building up play, that's where they definitely have struggled. But they'll look to launch one in here through Ben Mason with that long throw in. That's maybe somewhere where they've had joy, and in it goes by Mason. He gets it back with a 1-2, tries to cross one in, eventually dinks one to the far post. Dunn tries to head clear, but it's only fallen as far as a Braintree player who gets a shot off. In the end, it's blocked though, and it's Davies out to Ward now. Ward with a cross in from deep inside of the Hampton half, and Desbois catches easily. Is it Ward who's come to right back here, Oscar? Oh no, he's just filling in for Mason, is he?
Looks like it. I mean, he's playing a slightly deeper role in this half. He's not really been involved in much of the attacking play. It has to be said. But you've got him now making a run, but no Braintree player able to find him as of yet.
Yeah, ball was directed towards him, but Inman clears as Shaquille Colthurst, who's just come on for Braintree, got his first touches in that sequence. I don't think Shaquille Colthurst will take up the direct position of Georgiou, though. He looks to be going central with Ward coming out wide to this right-hand side. And it's another Braintree throw-in now through the long throw-in abilities of Ben Mason. He takes a little run up, no towel in sight, but ends up going short now to Ward. Ward chopping and turning, strikes one in the end, but it's blocked by Deadfield, but it's come out as far as the Ben Mason. The Braintree fullback Ben Mason, who in the end cuts one across goal, and I believe it was the new man on the pitch there, Shaquille Colthurst, had his first chance of the game. Ball was cut back to him by Ben Mason, and in the end it goes wide. What do you think to that chance, Oscar? Good one?
Well, yeah, I mean, this new guy, Colhurst, he tried to flick it in with his back heel. Ambitious attempt, and you've got to respect it in that position. I mean, it wasn't the most accurate delivery in the world, so he tried to make something out of nothing in that sense, but Adam Desbois had it covered, and in a game that he hasn't really been tested.
Here come Hampton and Richmond now, though. Rob Hall on the ball. That's what we want for the Beavers. But he's offside. That's not what we want for the Beavers, so it'll be a Braintree free kick from just outside of their own area, and Jack Sims, their goalkeeper, will come out to take it. We're hearing a bit more noise now from the Braintree cohort over there with the drums.
I heard a drum got nicked from the Beverley last game.
Yeah, Hemel Hempstead, who were in town on the weekend, seemed to mock the Beavers on Twitter for nicking a drum, and at the end of the day, obviously the Beavers took away 3 points from that game, as was stated on Twitter, so that's what matters. But hopefully the security on the drums will be a bit more tighter today.
Yeah, I think regardless of security on the drums, you got to think to yourself, is it really worth the time and effort required to nick a drum from a National League South football match?
Yeah,
I don't quite know what they got from that, but each to their own, I guess.
poor form from Hemel Hempstead there, but yeah, as we said, 3 points to the Beavers on that day, and that's what matters, I guess. Nevertheless, Beavers come forward now with Fernandez, and Gray flicks it on to Dunn, but Dunn just a bit too far behind that, and it rolls out for a Braintree throw-in. Braintree now recycling it round the back, and tried to find Ward with a long ball, and he remains onside, but Wishart does well to dispossess him. It's Rob Hall on the ball in the middle of the pitch now, turns very well, chips it over the top, and very unlucky not to find Jake Gray there as his ball's cut out. And here comes Colthurst, and he plays a poor ball straight into the feet of Adam Desbois.
Yeah, Rob Hall went down from a challenge, and he's only just got back to his feet. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but you've got Shane Dunn on the ball now.
Dunn passes it straight to the Braintree skipper, Alfie Payne. Alfie Payne's got time on the ball, and he goes for the long switch, unsuccessfully, to fullback Ben Mason. Instead, he picks out fullback Dan Wishart. Wishart tries a ball down the line, and it is intercepted for Hampton and Richmond throw-in. And Hampton and Richmond are going to make their first change of this game. It's going to be Rob Hall after hobbling after that challenge. Probably Hampton and Richmond's most dangerous player, actually. Unfortunately, will be leaving the pitch for George Nunn. Great performance by Hall. He does come off looking rather frustrated. I'm sure he would have liked a goal contribution. But what do you think his contribution was in the game? And, you know, why do you think Mel Gunnett chose to change that there?
Well, I think obviously he had a huge impact on the game. But now we've got George Nunn on the pitch, who has been playing the past few games. But this appears to be the most amount of minutes that he'll actually be playing in a game. Obviously, he's come over from Derby County, I believe, and had a bit of a spell in the Chelsea Youth Academy. So high expectations of the young player here, and we'll see what he can contribute to the game.
Yeah, obviously Movember over now, but Nunn is sporting an excellent moustache, and of course Movember will remain on the front of the slick Beaver shirts. Anyway, it's getting hoisted up in the air, and Nunn gets his first involvement with a flick on, but unfortunately only flicks it on to Braintree captain Alfie Payne, who switches it out wide. Handball shouts were heard there on Leon Davies, who touched it down, but ball's been played in behind, and Braintree were in behind there for a moment through Critchlow, but the Linos said it was offside, to the absolute disgrace of Angelo Harrop, the Braintree manager. Yeah,
I think Shane Dunn will breathe a sigh of relief there. Obviously, he was left to his own devices to an extent with the attacking force of the Braintree side. Yeah, getting together a decent attack there, but obviously pulled back for offside.
Wishart now into Inman. Inman recycles it over to Fernandez. Fernandez tries to find Dunn over the top, and it's just going to roll out for a Braintree goal kick. I mean, I don't blame Mel Gunnett for going towards his substitute bench and bringing in Nunn, because the second half is going rather flat at the moment, would you say, Oscar? There's not really anyone taking the game by the scruff of the neck.
I would have to agree with that, and perhaps George Nunn is the man to do that, to take the game by the scruff of the neck. As we mentioned before, there are some expectations of him. Obviously yet to be seen. He's perhaps not been given enough minutes to show his true potential, but goes up for a header there, and
but it falls to Braintree actually, and it's going to be Ward down the right hand side, but it's a fantastic tackle from Wishart to stop Ward getting in behind. When you look out there at the Hampton Richmond players, Nunn's got a fairly long long frame and is able to get involved physically. Would you say maybe that was an element why he was brought on today?
potentially. Obviously, missing Mason Bloomfield, I feel like that element has not appeared to be in this game, and perhaps none can offer that. But just going back to Wishart there, out of
oh, hold on, Oscar. It's going to be Braintree coming forward, and in the end, actually, they've given away a free kick despite being in a dangerous position. But yeah, you were saying about Wishart there, Oscar.
Yeah, well, firstly, that was good defending there from Donaldson. But Wishart, I think we keep giving credit to the likes of Inman and Fernandez at the back, but we also perhaps are guilty of forgetting Dan Wishart, who's just been constantly cutting out these passes from Braintree, and he is, one of the stronger defenders, I guess.
Absolutely, and in terms of the Hampton and Richmond fullbacks, it was Shane Dunn who was filling in for the absent Jordan Thomas today, and he's just been replaced in the Beavers' second change, being replaced by Alfie Whittingham. So that is now the second change for the Beavers, with Alfie Whittingham coming on at right back to replace Shane Dunn, who of course was playing right back in the absence of Jordan Thomas. Of course, we've also had George Nunn, the new man, coming on in midfield for Rob Hall as well. So, yeah, changes galore for Mel Gwinnett, trying to make an impact on this game, because at the minute it's just sort of petering into
Well,
0-0 at the minute.
I have to point out there, obviously we've sung his praises, but Dean Inman has just been nutmegged by one of the Braintree players, so he took one for the team there.
Tell you what, Oscar, I wasn't going to expose him on on live like that, but fair play to you. And it's the Braintree skipper, Alfie Payne, who's gone for a long one over the top, and Fernandez has dealt with it well because it bounced awkwardly near the Hampton and Richmond back line. And Wishart will bring it forward now, but he's being closed down rapidly by Braintree. And in the end, that pressure leads him to kick it straight out of play for a Braintree goal kick. I think Braintree potentially, given the run of form of the Beavers, we're one of the teams to beat in the league at the moment, maybe they'll be happy with the sort of play that they've been able to reduce Hampton Richmond to so far.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, as I said earlier, I don't think many people were actually expecting Braintree to offer this form of resistance. Obviously a solid mid-table side at the minute, but in terms of the form that Hampton and Richmond have been in, especially coming off that win.
Oh, Inman's headed it in behind it. Oh, Seymour was almost onto an Inman header, but the keeper clears it well, and it's exceptional hold-up play from Braintree number 9, Blair. And he wins a free kick for Braintree as Fernandez impeded on him. But, yeah, sorry, Oscar, you were saying?
Yeah, I was just saying, coming off that game against Chippenham, for example, where we just completely outclassed Chippenham Town on so many levels. And I don't think many people would have said that they'd be able to say that about Hampton and Richmond at this point in the season, but this is the kind of team we're dealing with now, a more ambitious side, one pushing for playoffs.
Absolutely, and it's Lamb over the free kick now. He goes short to Ben Mason. Mason goes out wide to Ward. Ward cuts inside. Oh, and he tried to find Critchlow, but straight into the hands of Desbois, who goes along to substitute Alfie Whittingham, who wins their flick on very well there. Gray was chasing, but in the end, Jack Sims does sweeper keeper duties. Do you see this game being a 0-0, Oscar? Is it giving you them vibes at the moment?
Yeah, I think at the minute it's got 0-0 written all over it, but to be honest with you. But I think with George Nunn coming on, with even Alfie Whittingham coming on the pitch, you are looking at a potential, turning the tide, perhaps, for Hampton and Richmond.
Yeah, and I'm going to say that it won't be a 0-0 because I don't want any of our viewers today to turn off. So it's Alfie Whittingham with the throw-in. And Dave Ward does sweeper keeper duties of his own now. Finds Wishart. Wishart plays a 1-2 brilliantly with Donaldson. Ward tries to bring down Wishart, but unsuccessful, and now Wishart picks out Donaldson once more. Donaldson tries the 1-2 with Deadfield, but instead Deadfield has his pass intercepted. There's a bit of frustration around the Beverly now. Deadfield flung his head back there in disapproval that his pass was intercepted, but he will take the throw in now, and actually he'll pass it on to Wishart. Wishart throws inside to Seymour. He tried the flick on, but it's well intercepted, and now Ward will attempt an over-the-top ball for Braintree, and it will fall to Desbois. Desbois into Fernandez. Fernandez to Inman. Inman to Wishart. Inman again, and Inman over the top. As we see so many times in this game, just a hopeful punt forward. Seymour does well, though. Winning the scraps, and it comes to Donaldson. Oh, Donaldson doesn't find anyone with that one, though, and Lamb finds his striker. Great turn from Blair, and he's been fouled now by Whittingham. Whittingham earns a booking for either the way he brought down Blair there on the counter-attack after being found, but he also could have been booked there for some fairly aggressive behaviour towards the referee. But how do you make of the substitutes' impact so far in terms of Whittingham and Nunn?
I think Nunn is... It's difficult to assess his impact so far because he's not really been given too many chances. I don't think there's been many chances on Hampton and Richmond's end, but I do like what I've seen from George Nunn this season. You can kind of see why he is being tipped potentially for great things in the sport, purely because of his spatial awareness. I think in an attacking sense, he gets himself in great positions, and yeah, hopefully once he starts becoming more familiar with the Beavers and the way we play, he'll become a great asset for us.
Absolutely, and I think Whittingham does sort of inject some good pace down the right-hand side, and he's been getting stuck in so far. Obviously earned a yellow card for his perils though, unfortunately. Ball in now by Ben Mason for Braintree, and it's straight into the hands of Adam Desbois. Adam Desbois with a great throw out though, releases Jake Gray, who can now find that pace of Whittingham. Oh, but unfortunately though, Whittingham miscontrols that one. Probably should have done better there, and could have been a Hampton and Richmond counter-attack after really bit of quick thinking from Adam Desbois.
He tends to be good with that kind of decision-making, to be fair, Adam Desbois. I've been impressed with that aspect to his game. Obviously, we saw earlier from him coming out to claim the ball with a header. And, yeah, I think the idea was there. It was a great idea, but ultimately Alfie Whittingham couldn't quite get the ball to his feet in time to drive the ball up the pitch as he probably would have wanted to.
Yeah, Adam Desbois chases the ball again once more as another series of clearances ends up falling back to his feet. And he opts to pick it up and punt it long. It's definitely quiet in the Beverly with only the Braintree drum to be heard. I think, you know, we're not used to being at 0-0 at this point in the game these days. We're used to seeing a lot of goals, but it's going to be Ben Mason chasing the ball for Braintree. And Wishart does very well. He was defending Matthew Ward as Matthew Ward looked to go down the line as an option for Ben Mason, but Wishart just uses that defensive nous to get in front of his man. And in the end, Matthew Ward earns a yellow card for bundling over Wishart. It's going to be a free kick to Hampton and Richmond from just inside the Braintree half, taken by Deadfield. All the centre-backs going forward for this one, and that will probably be the target of Deadfield. Here he goes with the left-footed delivery, goes towards the back stick. Brilliantly claimed, though, by Braintree keeper Jack Sims, who now looks to release Critchlow, but Wishart wins the header to stop any counter-attack, and Whittingham is actually dispossessed, though, now by Critchlow. He plays it down the line now to substitute Colthurst. Colthurst back to Davies. And it's a good interchange now down the left-hand side for Braintree. Critchlow with the ball in, and oh my word, it's probably the best chance of the game. Blair, that man who we said gets in dangerous positions, is a pest to them centre-backs. Could he have took that one away? Because it was great interchange down the left-hand side by Braintree.
Well, it was a great bit of athleticism from Blair to actually get himself in that position to hit the ball on a volley and potentially look for a top bins effort there. But it ended up going a few yards above the bar there, and he'd be disappointed with that.
I think if it was on target, I mean, Daybois was caught out by the fact he even got there, but Braintree with a good chance. And it's Critchlow who was crucial to that chance on the ball now. Plays it inside to the skipper, Alfie Payne. Here's Lamb in his own half, keeping possession. And here goes that long ball, looking for Critchlow. Falls to the substitute, out to Ward. Ward inside the Hampton and Richmond box now, a few step overs, strikes it, but into the side netting. I think they believe it was saved by Daybois, and a corner is given in the end. Did that ever look convincing to you, that attack? Do you think that was dangerous, Oscar? Or?
Well, I didn't think Daybois actually got a touch to it, to be honest. I thought the Braintree player just kind of rushed his work a little bit in that attacking spell, and potentially if he could have found one of his teammates to the left of him, they could have made something a little bit more from that.
And here comes another change for Braintree, their second change now. They've already taken off Georgiou for Colthurst, and now they're going to bring off the man who just created a great chance down the left-hand side for striker Blair, Critchlow. Critchlow is coming off, and he's coming off for number 16, Anderson Pinto. So, I mean, maybe there'll be a sigh of relief around the Beverley that Critchlow's coming off, because he looked like quite a dangerous player, Oscar. What did you make to his game today? Very
good player. I've been really impressed with him right from the start of this game, actually. Him along with Aaron Blair, these two have basically been running the show themselves on the Braintree side.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Matthew Ward has been involved, but hasn't looked quite as dangerous as the other two players in front of goal. But it'll take the corner now for Braintree. Into the box, cleared by Inman. Lamb strikes one. Oh no! Lamb strikes one, a bit of a tame effort from the edge of the box, and it's deflected into the back of the net. It just spun past Adam Daybois. Really unfortunate that, Oscar. 1-0 Braintree.
That is perhaps one of the most gutting goals to concede, really. I mean, you obviously had Lamb, who, as you say, I don't know if he even got his shot on target. It took a big deflection off, I don't know if that was a Braintree player or one of our defenders, and then the ball just p-rolls into the back of the net. Really gutting stuff in a game where, as we were saying just moments ago, we didn't think Braintree were really put together that many good plays in attack. But clearly, in football, these kind of opportunities can sometimes just come about themselves, really.
Absolutely, and now Braintree away from home at second in the table. Hampton and Richmond will really look to make this a difficult last few moments for Hampton and Richmond now. They'll want to hold on to this win, and they'll want to stop the form of Hampton and Richmond, who haven't lost in 11 games, but facing down the barrel now. 1-0 down to Braintree, who have put in a very solid performance. And to be honest, though, Hampton and Richmond, obviously, they won't want to blame the referee, but you might look at that corner decision now and think, oh my word, it wasn't even a corner in the first place, Oscar.
Potentially.
That's how unlucky Hampton and Richmond have been in terms of the referee calls, especially when you consider that first half penalty as well.
Yeah, I mean, the first half penalty was a controversial shout from the ref, but then, as you say, I don't know if Adam Daybois claimed to have not taken a touch on the ball for it to let it go out for a corner, but maybe maybe that was a bit of an oversight from the ref.
Nevertheless, it means